In the NBA world, some players rise and fall from their primes quicker than you can imagine. Some of the league's brightest stars shined briefly before fading away to be slowly forgotten about, leaving many fans wondering what happened to their favourite players. Today we're counting down some of the most forgotten NBA players of the modern era. From all-stars to injury-plagued veterans, we're breaking down their careers and how they went from household names to almost entirely forgotten.
Nasty play by Wall.
Starting off the list with none other than John Wall. During his prime, John Wall was known for being a dynamic score-first point guard with lightning-fast speed and flashy playmaking abilities. Wall was drafted first overall by the Washington Wizards in the 2010 NBA draft after a standout freshman season at Kentucky. He quickly established himself as one of the league's most electric guards, becoming known for his elite athleticism, passing ability, lightning speed, scoring abilities, and quick first step. During his time with the Wizards, Wall was able to lead his team to multiple playoff appearances, consistently averaging over 20 points and 10 assists during his prime years in the NBA. In John Wall's best season, he averaged an outstanding 23.1 points, 10.7 assists, 4.2 rebounds, and 2 steals per game, earning an All-NBA third-team selection and leading the Wizards to the second round of the playoffs. Despite his individual success, John Wall was never able to carry the Wizards to anything further than the conference semi-finals. Unfortunately, Wall's career took a quick and sharp downturn due to a series of serious injuries, including a torn Achilles that sidelined him for over a year. After an attempted comeback with the Houston Rockets and a brief return to the Wizards, Wall ultimately found himself out of the NBA. However, in a surprising move, Wall decided to take his talents to the NBL in Australia, where he averaged 15.3 points and 5.2 assists per game for the Sydney Kings. Sadly, after that short stint in the NBL, John Wall announced his retirement from professional basketball altogether, and that was the end of his short-lived NBA career. Next up, DeMarcus Cousins, who was arguably once considered the most dominant center in the league. Cousins started his career with the Sacramento Kings after being drafted 5th overall in 2010. Boogie was a relentless force in the paint, known for his scoring, rebounding, dunking abilities, and surprisingly good passing abilities for a big man. Cousins had his career peak in the 2016-17 season with the Kings and the Pelicans, where he averaged a solid 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game. However, Cousins' fiery temper and confrontations with his coaches, his teammates, and referees often overshadowed and got in the way of his talent. Things took a devastating turn when he tore his Achilles in 2018 while playing for the Pelicans, quickly derailing his potentially long all-star career. Other injuries, including a torn quadricep and a torn ACL, left him bouncing between teams like the Warriors, Rockets, Clippers, and Nuggets for the remainder of the late 2010s. Despite his undeniable talent, injuries left him unable to secure a long-term deal, leading to him being out of the NBA since the 2022 season.
Oladipo!
Attacking and finishing over the top here. Just blows by J.R. Smith, no help, and finishes.
Victor Oladipo was once viewed as the future franchise player of the Indiana Pacers after his breakout season in 2017, where he averaged 23.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 2.4 steals per game. He quickly became a two-time All-Star and was named the NBA's most improved player at the end of the 2017 NBA season. Oladipo was known for his relentless work ethic, two-way play, and ability to take over games in crunch time. But disaster struck in 2019 when he ruptured his quad tendon, a very rare and severe injury. Though he eventually returned to the NBA court, Oladipo never returned to his previous form, struggling with consistency and durability. After being traded to the Rockets and then eventually to the Heat, his production dropped to just 10.7 points per game in the 2022-23 season. Although not ever stating that he is officially retired from the NBA, even if he did make a return to the NBA, there's no doubt that he would find it very difficult to return to his previous All-Star form.
Williams picked up by Paul, turns the corner. Williams, watch out! Denied! Darren Williams had it blocked. Clippers go the other way.
Blake Griffin burst onto the scene as the first overall pick by the Los Angeles Clippers in 2009. After missing his entire rookie season due to an injury, he made an explosive debut to the NBA scene in 2010 by averaging 22.5 points, 12.1 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game, earning himself the Rookie of the Year award. Over the next couple of seasons during the early to mid-2010s, Griffin's high-flying dunks and dynamic athleticism made him a fan favorite and perennial all-star for multiple years in a row. However, as injuries continued to stockpile and his athletic abilities began to decline, Griffin had to reinvent his game just to ensure he can stay on an NBA court. He developed a reliable outside shot, but was never the same explosive force that he was in the early to mid-2010s with the Clippers. After a couple productive but inconsistent seasons with the Pistons, Nets, and Celtics, he found himself out of the league by the end of 2024.
Coaches from Musselman to Theus. After Adelman was let go, Monta Ellis really has it on lockdown right now, 3 of 3.
Monta Ellis was once one of the most exciting scorers in the NBA. During his prime with the Golden State Warriors, he averaged 25.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game. Known for his quickness and ability to create his own shot, Ellis was the heart and soul of the Warriors' offense for most of the early 2000s. But as the league began to shift into the three-point era and the Warriors' decision to draft and continue to develop a young Steph Curry as the future of their franchise led to Ellis slowly beginning to trickle out. After a few years where Ellis struggled to adapt to having to hand over some of the scoring and ball handling responsibilities over to a young Curry, the Warriors made the bold decision to ship their only star player to buy in on their up-and-coming young sharpshooter in Stephen Curry and provide the Warriors with a more consistent, reliable, and traditional big man in Andrew Bogut. After a couple short stints with the Bucks and Pacers, Monta Ellis was out of the NBA by 2017, ultimately being unable to secure a spot on a modern roster.
Allow me to introduce you to Derrick Rose.
MVP time! Windy City Assassin does it again!
This guy is off the charts. Not the only point guard in the league who can make that play.
Big time players make big time plays!
After being drafted with the first pick in the 2008 NBA draft by the Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose became part of the history books by becoming the youngest MVP in NBA history in 2011 by averaging 25 points and 7.7 assists per game. His explosive athleticism and fearless drives to the basket made him one of the most electrifying players not only of his era, but arguably in the entire history of the NBA. Sadly though, a series of repeated knee injuries, including a torn ACL, derailed his prime and straight up ruined his career. Rose spent the next decade bouncing from team to team, showing flashes of brilliance but never returning back to the level that he was at during the early 2010s in Chicago. Despite opportunities with the Timberwolves, Pistons, and Knicks, Rose never returned to his previous MVP form, announcing his retirement from basketball on the 26th of September 2024.
Great rebounders again. Kevin Love throws it down. That's the power of Love. Love with the slam, his 30th dunk of the season.
Drafted in 2008 by the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kevin Love was a 5-time NBA All-Star and a double-double machine with the Timberwolves, and a reliable second option for LeBron's historical 2016 Cavs, with his highest averages being from the 2013-14 season when he averaged 26.1 points and 12.5 rebounds per game. After joining the Cavaliers and winning a title alongside LeBron James, his role gradually diminished as the teams he was on focused more on their younger stars rather than Kevin and his increasing age. Injuries also took a toll on his career, and Love's production significantly decreased year after year before he retired from basketball at the end of 2024. So there you have it. Those are some of the most forgotten NBA stars of the modern era. Whether it was due to injuries or unfortunate circumstances, each of these players once ruled the court before fading from the spotlight. Let us know in the comments if I missed anyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.